Chapter 1. The Moment of Truth. I never meant to fall in love with him. Not like that. Not when he called me his brother. The sun was just starting to set when Ayan stepped off the bus, his college bag slung lazily over one shoulder. The soft breeze played with his golden hair as he made his way home from campus, unaware that today would be the day his world shifted forever. His legs felt tired, his mind half zoned out after a long lecture on global economics, but his heart did a small skip as he climbed the stairs to their penthouse apartment. The thought of seeing his half-brother Rayan always brought a warmth to his chest, a warmth he kept hidden even from himself. He opened the door, and froze. There, just a few feet away in their elegant living room, stood Rayan. Tall, graceful, dressed in a dark suit, his golden brown hair slightly messy as if someone had just run their fingers through it. His back was turned, but Ayan didn't need to see his face to know that it was him. Rayan was kissing someone. Not just anyone. His assistant. The man who was always by Rayan's side. The one who traveled with him for business trips. Who dined with him. Who even stayed the night at their house sometimes. Ayan stood at the doorway, completely still. His breath caught. For a long moment, he just stared. And then, something inside him broke. So, this is the truth, he thought numbly. This is why you never took me along. He remembered the countless times he had begged Rayan to let him join on a trip. Just once. I want to see another country. I want to experience other cultures. Go to a beach with you. Eat weird food together like brothers do. But Rayan had always smiled gently and said, "Next time, maybe." These trips are all business. He believed him. Even when the assistant stayed overnight. He's here for an early meeting, that's all. Even when they went to restaurants late at night. He worked hard, I'm just treating him. Ayan had swallowed all the lies like sweet candy. But now, standing there with a burning throat and a heart full of cracks, he realized they weren't lies. They were truths he refused to see. He turned around silently, closing the door before anyone noticed him. His feet moved on their own, walking down the hall, out into the street, his vision blurry. He didn't cry, not yet. The bar was loud. Music thumped like a heartbeat gone wild. People laughed, glasses clinked. But Ayan sat alone, a single untouched beer in front of him. He stared down into the glass as if it held the answers to his broken heart. "I'm so stupid," he whispered to himself. "For 4 years, I've loved someone I shouldn't." His voice cracked. "I never chose to love him," he muttered. "It just happened." He remembered that day, 4 years ago. He was only 16, standing at the edge of his mother's funeral when 2 strangers appeared, Rayan and his father. "You're our family," they said. "You're my little brother." Rayan smiled, placing a warm hand on his shoulder. At first, Ayan thought it was a bad joke. He had grown up with his mother, completely unaware that his father was alive, or that he had a half-brother. But then came the proof. DNA results. Old photos. Shameful confessions from relatives. His mother had been a one-night mistake, a forgotten memory from a drunk evening. But Rayan and his father had taken him in without hesitation. They never made him feel unwanted. They gave him their name, their home, their warmth. And somewhere along the way, that warmth turned into something dangerous. Not brotherly love. Real love. Forbidden love. Painful love. "I didn't want this," Ayan whispered, blinking hard. "But seeing him with that assistant, it hurts so much. It hurts like hell." He slammed the drink back, finishing the bitter taste in one go. Then another. And another. Sometime later, staggering to the restroom with blurry eyes, Ayan's body felt numb, but his heart still throbbed with too many emotions. He pushed open the restroom door and bumped hard into someone tall, solid, and warm. Ayan blinked up. He saw a man with a sharp jawline wearing a black shirt unbuttoned slightly at the chest. His face was blurry, but Ayan's drunken heart saw only one thing: Rayan. "Big brother," he whispered, swaying. The man froze. "What the fu—" he started, But Ayan cut him off by clutching his shirt. I know this is wrong, Ayan mumbled. I know I'm not supposed to feel this way. But I love you. I've loved you for 4 years. The man looked down, confused and slightly amused. What are you even… Ayan didn't stop. I remember that day. You held my hand at my mother's funeral. You told me I belonged with you. You smiled at me like I mattered. His voice trembled. I know I'm your brother, but I still fell for you. And now, seeing you kiss someone else, I feel like I'm dying. His eyes filled with tears. Just once. Just let me kiss you. Let me be selfish.
Just one time. Then I'll forget. I'll never be a burden to you or him again. Just once, please. The stranger looked down at the drunk boy clinging to him. And then, slowly, he smiled, dark, amused, devilish. Don't regret it later, baby, he murmured. And he leaned down. Chapter 2, One Night Mistake. Ayan didn't know how he ended up in the black luxury car. The seats smelled of leather and expensive cologne. The windows were tinted, separating them from the outside world like they were locked inside a dream, or a nightmare. He was still clinging to the tall man's arm like a koala, his face buried into the warmth of his chest. Tears had dried on his cheeks, but his fingers trembled as they curled tighter into the fabric of the man's black shirt. The man, cold and quiet, drove with one hand, the other resting on the wheel like he was in control of everything, including Ayan's heart. You're really not letting go, huh? He said with a low chuckle. I won't, Ayan whispered, barely audible. Not tonight. He didn't notice the man's eyes flicker in the rearview mirror, studying his tear-stained cheeks. They reached the hotel. The moment they stepped into the elevator, Ayan wrapped both arms around the man's neck, climbing up like a drunk little monkey. I don't want to stand, he mumbled against his ear. You're ridiculous, the man muttered, but he didn't push him away. His arms slid around Ayan's thighs, lifting him with ease as if carrying something precious. Rael, Ayan breathed out. The man's body stiffened. But he didn't correct him. The hotel room was luxurious, dark marble floors, silk bedsheets, dim golden lights casting shadows along the walls. The sound of the door closing echoed like a warning. Ayan pulled away just enough to look at the man's face. Sharp jawline. High nose. Dangerous eyes that gleamed like obsidian under the lights. You're so beautiful, Ayan whispered. I never told you. I was afraid it would ruin everything. The man stood still, letting him speak. But tonight I want to be selfish. Let me pretend you're mine, even just once. Ayan reached up, fingers shaking as they touched the side of his face. And the man leaned down. Their lips met. The kiss was soft at first, a question wrapped in trembling desperation. Ayan kissed him like he was kissing a dream he never wanted to wake up from. But the man kissed back like a flame had been lit, hungry, bold, unafraid. He grabbed the back of Ayan's head and deepened the kiss, their breaths tangled, hands moving without thought. Ayan's fingers unbuttoned the shirt he had clung to earlier. Each button was a confession. Each inch of skin revealed was a memory he'd buried. The man tugged Ayan's shirt off in one swift motion, letting it fall to the ground. I'll give you what you want, he whispered into Ayan's neck. But don't cry about it later.
I won't, Ayan whispered, lips trembling, but he already was. The room filled with the sound of breathing, quiet moans, skin brushing skin. Clothes fell to the floor like broken promises. The lights dimmed until only shadows moved across the bed. And then, black. Chapter 3, Morning Regret, Devil's Smile. Ayan groaned as light crept through the hotel curtains, stabbing into his eyes like punishment. His head was pounding, his throat felt dry, his whole body ached in places he'd never felt sore before. He tried to move, only to feel the heavy arm draped across his waist. The warmth behind him wasn't from a pillow, it was from a person, a very naked person. His eyes flew open, white sheets, designer furniture. He was in an unfamiliar hotel room, and then, the slowest, most horrifying turn of his head, he looked over his shoulder and saw him, the man from last night, not his brother, not Rayan, but him, jet black hair messy from sleep, lips curved into a lazy smirk, toned body stretched across the bed like a cover model. His sharp, fox-like eyes opened slowly as if he could feel Ayan's panic bubbling up. "Good morning, baby," the man said, voice rough and low. "Why are you spacing out? Didn't I satisfy you enough last night?" Ayan's entire soul left his body. What?" he shrieked, grabbing the nearest pillow and hurling it at the man's face. "Why you pervert, you, we." The man caught the pillow mid-air and casually rested his head on it. "You don't remember begging me to kiss you," he said with a devilish smirk. "Or when you said you loved me for 4 years. That was touching." Ayan froze. The memories came crashing in like a storm. The alcohol, the bar, the car, clinging to him, the kiss, the tears, the words he'd buried deep in his heart for his brother, spilled out to a complete stranger. He gripped the bed sheet tighter against his chest, his face flushed with shame, eyes wide with panic. I thought you were someone else. It was a mistake," he cried, standing up and scrambling to collect his clothes. "Forget everything. It never happened." The man sat up, resting his elbow on his knee, chin in hand, watching Ayan with a maddening glint in his eye. "Forget," he said slowly, like tasting the word. "Sorry, sweetheart, I have a very good memory, especially when someone climbs me like a koala, kisses me like I'm oxygen, and moans my name like a song." "Stop talking." Ayan pulled on his pants and shirt in record speed, refusing to look back at the man in bed. He stormed to the door, but before he could leave, "By the way," the man's voice rang out smoothly, "you said your name was Ayan, right?" "I'm Rael." Ayan's hand paused on the doorknob. Rael Coley, the infamous billionaire playboy, who changed lovers more often than he changed cars. Oh God. He bolted out the door like the room was on fire. Inside, Rael leaned back against the headboard, letting out a quiet laugh. "Youre